Namaste. This is Swami Prabodhananda, uh, General Secretary. Today, I welcome you again in this Bhagavad Gita discussion for on behalf of International Vedanta Society for your continuous support and and encouraging us into this Bhagavad Gita classes. Uh, Thank you very much. We have been, very, we have been very. Uh, so today we had a very productive day in Sunday. From the morning we had a lot of discussion. People started to come. It's amazing that in this COVID, in this COVID problem that we are facing, the worldwide. People are interested in coming to the ashram and spiritual, doing spiritual practices right from the morning. And we started a class we started a discussion in Bengali from today. Going to do because I have given classes in various subjects in Bhagavad Gita or in Ashtavakra Gita or in any other spiritual texts, but I have not started to give classes on the life of Bhagwan. So this is how destiny has given an opportunity, to speak about Bhagwan's life in Bengali, and in future giving Bhagavad Gita classes in Spanish. So probably we can also start to translate this wonderful life of Bhagwan in Spanish, in Spanish speaking people also, apart from Hindi and English and Bengali, and because Assam is our native place. Sujata ji, namaskar, pranam. Because Assam is our native place, so we are also thinking about starting a little, Facebook live in people from Assam. They can also know how a person living in Assam, doing his job in the railways in Assam, he got transformed from from a very common man, and today is regarded as God incarnate by many. He is considered to be Bhagavan, and we address him as Bhagavan. So this is this is quite phenomenal. His life is quite phenomenal, and we should all know about his life. So it's a starting. We have started it in Bengali today, and we'd like to extend it in other languages, in Hindi, in English, and in Spanish, if possible. Can extend it in other language also. Shulika ji, namaskar. So today, yesterday that there was some connection problems, and hope today we don't have to face this problem. Yesterday, because of this connection problem, I could not give a very good class. Something gets disturbed, so you don't feel like continuing. So yesterday it was not good at all. The class was not so perfect, and the quality of the class was also not good. Once Bagus, pranam, namaste. So once this happens, then you don't feel like talking also. So hopefully today we don't have this connection problem. And one more thing is that we are trying to reach maximum people. We are trying to reach more and more people. So that these spiritual teachings, they can reach to many more human hearts. So yesterday I have to be thankful to you all that we have reached this 400 viewers. Though 400 viewers is nothing as compared to this millions and millions of viewers that other spiritual persons have, but for us, so 400 is cool. But we'd like to reach 1,000 viewers, each of 1,000 viewers, where 1,000 viewers comes and listens the spiritual classes that we are doing. And then we started one. This is something which I would like to ask help from you all. Please spread this message, you know, to people that this Bhagavad Gita class is going on, and if it really helps you, if these classes really helps you, and if you think that it's really, it's really good that, Dipanita Namaskar. So if you think that it's really good, so please, please carry forward this message of International Vedanta Society to the people, because International Vedanta Society is comparatively a very young organization. We are just 30 years old, and within this 30 years we have like many ashrams all over India as well as in the world. But what we see is that we are very confined within a very few people. Like people who are involved with us are very spiritual, very serious, very sincere. But somehow we could not reach to these masses. So now it's time that any pranam. So now it's time that International Vedanta Society reach the mass, and for need your support, we need your cooperation in this. Everybody, please spread this word that these kind of classes are going on. Many other Swamijis who are giving these classes. So please spread this word of Bhagavad Gita, as well as the other other spiritual classes that are happening. Like Swami Shankarananda is giving classes on Upanishads. Swami Bhaskaranda, Swami Nirgunananda, so Swami Swarupananda is also a very good speaker. And Teju Muhima, as well as this Swami Prahladananda, Swami Pragyanananda. So they are all giving classes. So please spread this message. They've realized the self, and they are started to share this knowledge. So people should at least come and listen. So please spread this message to everybody. So before we start, let us all, as always, let us all meditate for some time, and then we start the class. But today, when we start the class, I would like to speak a little bit about why connection problem. Our class was not good. I was not at all happy, not sad. So let us start from where we left last yesterday. So let's meditate. So today we start. Before starting, there was one question which came to me from one of our talks about the demigods or evil spirits, or all this. How to take it, how to accept it. That Bhagavad Gita is a text, spiritual text, which deals with everything. You will find everything within Bhagavad Gita. So these when Krishna talks about these evil spirits, or or spirits, or gods or demigods, he had these all imaginations. And Lord Krishna dispelled all the imaginations that we had, so that we can, direct our mind, our intellect into the search of self and realize the self. Now, when you read them, and if you think that they are not important, and it's not relevant for you, please exclude them. They are not important. What is the most important thing in Bhagavad Gita, as far as I have understood, is this: that Bhagavad Gita talks about the way of life. To a spiritual path, you practice spirituality, how to manage your life, how to lead your life, what to do with your duties, how to Mondal Babu, good evening, thank you. Devash, how to approach, in everyday work, day to day work, our duties, and make them beneficial, so that, by this work alone. Kunal, namaskar, ভালো থেকো. So by this, and make these works, more and more beneficial to our spiritual path. As well as it talks much about, what is meditation. Bandana ji, pranam. It talks much about meditation, much about, spiritual as austerity. And when you listen to them, or when you read them, you will see that they are very, very important for a spiritual person. So we should all accept them. It talks very, very clearly about the self, how to attain the self. Only jnana yoga, it's bhakti yoga. In bhakti yoga also, there are many, in every verse he has given one way, different ways. It he simplifies, bhakti yoga, each and every step of a human being towards God. So this is what Bhagavad Gita is all about. So see the description of personal God in the Puranas, which are not considered to be authoritative spiritual. But as far as, this Prasthantra is concerned, there is Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutra. In Bhagavad Gita, he has talked at length about this personal God, and, the nature of the personal God, his character, and how he is associated with us human being, and how a human being, 74 verses out of 700. Yeah, karma yoga. Yes, karma yoga. Gita mainly concentrates on karma yoga. It's true, but with karma yoga, it has also talked about many other yogas, and it has, it has assimilated. It has assimilated all the other paths. All the paths together. Only in Bhagavad Gita we see that there is an assimilation of every ideas about God, as well as, the way of attaining God. So, there is just Bhagavad Gita is just an it's a, it's a huge, he has talked about every possible idea, about Godhood, about the supreme, about the self, about consciousness, and every possible way which leads to that. So this is all about Bhagavad Gita. So let us start, our text. We we were discussing karma yoga. So, in karma yoga, uh, we were here. Karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasa smaran. Indriyarthan vimuratma mithyachara sa uchyate. We had started the discussion yesterday, but, because of this connection problem, we had the disturbance very much, and I also got a little bit distracted, and that is why I could not speak very, very nicely. So let us start again. So he says, Karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasa smaran. Indriyarthan vimuratma mithyachara sa uchyate. Krishna is talking about, unattachment. We should be free to have this complete unattachment. Can we have this unattachment? We can have this unattachment. Before, Krishna had said that we can have this unattachment when we can disassociate ourselves from the doer of the karma, from the results of the karma, and the karma itself. So we can, we can separate ourselves from the doer, that I am not the doer. When I can have this firm conviction that I am not the doer. And when I'm performing any action, I should not think about the results, so I should not get attached to the results as well. And while I am performing a karma, I should not get here there was a doubt whether Krishna had talked about mental unattachment, intellectual unattachment, or he had only talked about physical unattachment. That is, if I can physically separate myself from the matter, from the world, that is enough. I don't need anything, any other unattachment. I don't need any other separation. Only if I can separate myself physically, like if I can unattach, if I can disconnect myself from the world through my senses. So here Krishna says that it is not enough to disconnect this world through your senses. That is, it is not enough for you to have a spiritual realization, to have the spiritual necessary for you to practice mental and intellectual unattachment as well. Because that is what he says, karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasa smaran. You can from these external matters of this world, from your body, from your senses. We have like 10 senses, 5 sense of perception and 5 sense of action. So we can separate our these 10 senses from this external world, but we also possess a mind. And because we possess this mind, though we have disconnected or separated ourselves physically, the mind is going to think about them, relish them, enjoy them, enjoy them. Thank you very much for coming to the class. Welcome to the class of welcome to this discourse of Bhagavad Gita. So if our mind is if our mind is attached to the external world, and if our mind continues to experience, and our mind continues to enjoy the matter of the external world, so that is not unattachment. The main attachment happens in the mental level. The main attachment happens in the intellectual level. When we will go in the in further into karma yoga, there Krishna, that Krishna says that it's not about the actions, it's not about this physical attachments. You can do any kind of karma, but the main the search of God. Your mind should be sincere to the search of truth. That is more important. Yastvat atma rati reva syadatma tipta shamanava. He says that person who is atma rati, who is sincere to the self, and only he is satisfied only and he is satisfied only in the self. Yastvat atma rati reva syadatma triptasya manava atmaneva hi samsiddhi tasya karyam na vidyate. If he can stay within this karma, then whatever actions he partakes, he is not at all attached. He does not have any actions. What does it mean? He does not have any actions. Doesn't he do any action? He does. He does all the actions as as the same as an unenlightened person. But because his mind is always in the self. His mind is always in the self. That is why though he is working, he is not at all engaged in this work. That is not considered to be work at all. So any kind of physical unattachment is not attachment at all. The main unattachment happens within the mind. That is why in the second chapter when he was talking about, you know, when he was talking about how the tortoise can return into its shell when it is, when it is, attacked. In the same way, in the same way, he says that we should also retreat into the how indriyani indriyathebba tasya pragya pratishtita. Though he talks about, retreat, it's not only the senses, it also talks about the mind and the intellect. So restrain our mind and intellect from getting attached to the external world. That is the real unattachment. And that is what Krishna is saying here. That, you know, that karmendriya, a person can restrain his senses of action, but is in, thinking about the external world or the matter or the objects of the external world, then what happens? Indriyathan bimuratma. He is engaged in that. He is not unattached. Though he seems to be unattached, though he is not doing anything, he seems to be, unattached, but he is not that. He is very much attached, and that is why he is a stupid. He is a stupid. Indriyathan bimuratma mithyachara sa uchate. This kind of activity, this kind of behavior is an act of hypocrisy. We should, when we talk about unattachment, that unattachment should happen from the plane of mental and intellectual level. It should not only be from the physical level. Okay, so that is what he's saying here. Then he says, yeah, then he says, indriyani manasa niyamya aravate arjuna. But if a person is capable of controlling his senses, also controlled, also restrained. How your mind restrained? Your mind is restrained because your intellect is restrained, because it is the intellect which actually drives the mind. So, when he says the person whose senses are being restrained by the mind, it is not only the mind, it is also the intellect which is also, restraining the mind. And how does the intellect happen to restrain the mind? The intellect happens to restrain the mind because the intellect is directed towards the self. And that is why the intellect can restrain the mind, and the mind, and the mind can again restrain the senses. So here it says, that, uh, here it says, yastvindriyani sanyamya, uh, yastvindriyani manasa niyamya aravate arjuna. But when a person can restrain his senses and engage into the work, okay, karmendriyai karma yogam asakta savishishyate. What does it mean? It says that he is engaged into the karma by, by getting unattached, by making his senses of action unattached from the sense objects. If a person restrain his senses through his mind, then what he is doing external objects. And that is when, that is what is called karma yoga. That is when it is called karma yoga. Karma yoga means when you perform a karma by completely, becoming unattached from everything which makes you bounded. My mind and intellect and the senses are restrained while I am performing any action. That action is called karma yoga. That action is called karma yoga. And when you attain, you attain success, accomplishment. Okay, so this is what it says. Now further it says, niyatam kuru karma jyayo hyakarmana. He says you should always keep on doing actions. You should always keep on performing actions, because performing actions is much more better, is much work. You are free. Your mind makes you free. You see that there is no work at all. Till that time, if you are in a spiritual path, you should not get rid of your work. You should not stop working only because you have started to meditate, or you have had some very, you have had some spiritual realization. Even if you have a spiritual realization, then also you need to keep on working, because till you have attained the state of worklessness, that is naish karma, that we had discussed before. Till you have attained the state of naish karma, you cannot attain clarity of knowledge. You will not have clarity of knowledge. You will not have clarity of enlightenment. You will not have clarity about your own self. You will always be in confusion. Everything will be hazy. The real, okay, so the real self will always remain covered. There will be a veil. You cannot see that real self. Okay, and that is why you should always keep on working. So here Krishna says that niyatam kuru karmatvam karma jayo hyakarmana. You should always keep on moving. You should always keep on performing karma, because actions are much more beneficial, much more better than. So you need to keep, you need to always you know how to work. What is the process by which you, what is the intention behind your work? He says, yagyathat karmano anyatra koyam karma ban. Yagyathat karmana, that is, do perform every karma. Joy Bhagavan Kunal. Perform every karma. Why he has brought this concept of yagya with respect to karma? Because yagya is something which we do for others. Yagya is a Vedic sacrifice which is done to satisfy the lords. And in yagya means the process of giving. Only give. There is no receiving. You cannot receive anything. You should only give. So Krishna says that your work, your actions should be like that. That your action should be an act of giving. That's all. You should not have this intention of receiving anything from the work. While you are engaging into any action, you should always be very careful that these actions should only benefit others. You should not seek your own benefit. And if you do that, if you want to get benefited from the work that you are doing, if you do that, what will happen? You will only of this world, of this birth and death, of this karma and its effect. You will keep on moving in this circle of birth and death, karma and its effect, karma and its result, in this way, and there is no way that you can get out of that. You will find no way out. You will find out, and that is why you need to always keep on moving, trying to do this karma in a way that it is like a yagya. It is like a sacrifice, that it is done only for others. It should not be performed for ourselves. Okay, that is the only way by which these karmas are going to liberate us. The karmas, when I am performing any karma, if I have this intention that these karmas are only intended for the good of others, if I have this intention, then what will happen? They will liberate me. They will liberate me from this bondage of birth and death. They will liberate me from the bondage of karma and its results. And if I do this karma only for myself, if I look for only for my own benefit, then I will keep on getting bounded again and again in this life and death, in karma and its results, and I will remain in bondage. And that is why Krishna says, Yagyathat karmano anyatra, actions only as if it is a yagya. And then only, he was talking about, working by being unattached. So this is a very, hello, any benefit of that. So if I don't look, I don't look for my own benefit while I am performing action, am I not to be benefited? It says that you are going to be, benefited the most. If you are, if you are poor, you will be liberated from poverty. If you have any kind of ailments, you will be liberated from them. If you have any kind of mental issues, if you any kind of spiritual issues, emotional issues, any kind of issue which bothers you, which pains you, you are going to liberate it from everything. That is called liberation. So, if you work for others, if you don't seek your own benefit while you are working, you will see that you are mostly, you are benefited the most. And that is why this path of spirituality, this path of karma yoga, there are difference between wisdom and clever. Pranam, Rita. There's a difference between being clever and being wise. A wise man does things which is going to benefit him in the future. A clever thing does things which is going to benefit instantly, but they don't stay. They go, and that is why we should not be clever. We should be wise. We should be wise. And this path is for the wisdom. That is why whenever you are working, each and every work should be done to benefit others, not for yourself. And that is the best way to get benefited from each and every work that you perform. Okay, so then we go further. Then he says, when he talks about yagya, when he says every work should be done as if it is a yagya, that is, it has been performed for others. When he says so, he says, when this world was created, the person who has created this world is called Brahma. Even when he has created this world, he has done this sacrifice, he has done this yagya. So this yagya is within this, inception of this world. When he says this, he wants to relate this opposite, the way the way this world has been created, or the law of nature. If you behave the opposite to the law of nature, then you are going to lose. And if you really are a wise man, you should behave as as per the law of nature, because the law of this nature has come after yagya. Saha yagya praja srishta puro vacha prajapati. The prajapati, that is Brahma, when he has created this world, he has created this world through sacrifice, and then he has created us, everybody, human being, animals, plants, but he has done it, he has done it from sacrifice. By saying this, he wants to tell us, Krishna wants to tell us that, you see, the inception of this world is yagya. Working, your work should also be as same as the intention of this world was, that is for others. Okay, saha yagya praja shishta puro vacha prajapati anena prashabadhvam esha voshishta kamadhu. After creating this world from sacrifice, the Brahma said that go and multiply, among yourself, produce, reproduce, and what? And I'm giving you this karma. Go, use this karma as a tool of attaining all your desires. Now there is one point. We all are performing karma. The whole world is performing karma. And why do we perform karma? We perform karma to satisfy ourselves, satisfy our desire, to fulfill our desire. If you ask anybody, you know, if you ask anybody who has worked for his whole life, at the end of his life, have you attained your desires? Have you satisfied? Have your desires satisfied? Because you have worked for your whole life. Did all your desires, or some of your desires, or the main desires that you have, they have been completed? He will say, no. I've run, I've worked hard, sincerely, but not complete. So why the desires of a person does not get fulfilled, even when he has worked for his whole life? Why does not a person, after working for the whole life, feel satisfied, feel accomplished, feel complete? Why doesn't he do that? Only because he have not worked according to the way it should be, and that creates the difference. Work is a tool for attaining the self completeness, for attaining happiness, joy, peace, liberation. And that is what Krishna is saying. Use your work, use your karma as a tool to attain liberation, accomplishment, satisfaction, happiness, joy, bliss, peace. But why do we not, why we are not able to do that? We are not able to do that only because we work for satisfying our body. We work for satisfying our mind. We say that we are working for a family. We are working for our family. I'm working for my family. I'm working for my children. I'm not working for my family or my children. I'm working for myself. Because my family is not there. My family is within my own mind. So when I'm working for my family, I also have an expectation that my family is going to fulfill my needs. And if my family does not fulfill my needs, I don't work. And even if I work, I don't share the results of the work with them. So, though we say that we are doing everything for others, actually, in real sense, we don't do it. We actually do everything for our own self. We love our children, we love our parents. Everything is everything, in every aspect there is this sense of selfishness. There is this self-interest. Nothing is directed, you know and that is why Krishna says that you have got a really great tool, and that tool is called karma. Don't think what you are going to get. Don't expect anything. Just give. And that is why he brings the concept of yagya, that do every karma as if it is yagya. And if you can do every karma as if it's yagya, you will see that you've really attained excellence. At the end of your life, you will see that you are happy, you are peaceful, you are satisfied. We need to use our work in that way. And that is why it says that saha yagya prajashishta puro vacha prajapati dvam esha voshishta kamadhuk. The prajapati, the person who has created this world, he said, go and use your karma to fulfill yourself. So these karmas are a way to fulfill ourselves, but we don't get fulfilled. We become much more unfulfilled, unsatisfied. We need to use this tool in the right way. How? To do things for others. So what happens when we do things for others? Here Krishna says, he gives us an example. Suppose you don't want to do anything for your fellow human being. Suppose you are very, very, very selfish, and you want to do things for the gods, because you know that the gods are the one which bestows power, which bestows all the prosperity to us. So if I have to do something, I should do for gods. So if you do that for gods, it says devan bhavatanena te deva bhavayantuva. If you do things for God, if you do things for the lords, then the lords are also going to do things in return for you. So, if you use this karma for doing things for others, then you are reciprocated in the same way. And that is the real essence of life. That is the real essence of getting satisfied in this world. Do things for others. Don't bother about what you're going to get or what you're getting. Just keep doing. Just keep doing. That is what karma yoga is all about. Just keep doing things. Don't think about what you're going to get in return or what you're getting in return. Maybe initially you don't find good things. You don't find appreciation. You see only criticism, opposition. Maybe it can happen. But even if it happens, just keep doing it. At the end, you will see that every action that you have partaken are reciprocated. Reciprocated much more than you have done, and then that makes you satisfied. Okay, parasparam bhavayanta shreya parama vyapsatha. And by this, interdependence between you and the Lords, or you and this world, by interdependence, what happens? You are going to attain excellence. This sacrifice, actually, you are true, you know but doing karma out of love, how many people does it? This is very exceptional. Very few people can do it. Thank you very much, Annie. It's a very beautiful question, that we can do karma out of love. Where is love? Who loves? People love themselves. The love that we know as in the world, this worldly love, is only love for myself. I love people because they love me back. So we are all selfish. We do everything to just out of love to people. We don't love people. So there are very fractional amount of people who can actually think of others, who can love. For the rest, they do it for themselves. But to teach them how to start loving, that is that is why Krishna brought this concept of sacrifice. Vedic sacrifice. This is not that sacrifice. It is a ritual. It's something which we do by lighting the fire, and in the fire we give everything. And this act is not receiving. We don't receive anything. In a worship, if you see any worship, you will see prasad is distributed. Prasad, we offer food to the Lord, and then we distribute that food among others, and that is called prasad. But in the act of sacrifice, Vedic sacrifice, yajna, there is no prasad. You don't take anything out of that. You just give everything to Agni, that is fire, and the fire absorbs everything. So Krishna says, yeah, for loving sacrifices, love can teach sacrifice. If you love, then you don't need to sacrifice. Love itself is sacrifice. So that is what Krishna says, that do everything out of as if. So here it says that when you are doing everything for others, then the others are also doing everything for you. And in this way, you both do things for each other, and that is how you attain excellence, you attain happiness. Okay. So now he says, Isthana bhogan hi wo deva dasanta yagga bhavitaha. He says, what happens if I don't offer my my actions for others. Or I am supposed to, when I'm doing a yagya, I am supposed to give everything in the yagya. What happens that I am performing a yagya, but I'm not giving anything in yagya. That is, this karma that I'm doing, it is like a yagya. So this has to be done according to the rules. And what is the rule? This karma should be done, should be performed only for others. The intention should be that whatever action I do, they should benefit, not to me. Okay. And if I don't do this, if I do actions for myself, what happens? Tair dattana pradayevo yo bhunjate stena evasa. If a person does not give, if a person does not perform anything for others, then he is like a thief. He's stealing things. He's a thief, and because he is a thief, he's going to be punished also. And that is how people everywhere they get punished. Okay. So let us stop here, and we are going to commence this class on Tuesday at 8:30. To start, means if I can share my own experience. I have just followed the principle of karma yoga. I've just followed the principle of karma yoga. The first principle of karma yoga said that karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. This was the first principle of karma yoga, that you can only work, but you should not think about the result of your action. So I just practiced this one. Thank you, Sonali. I just practiced this one, that I have to just keep working, and every work that I did, they were only for others, and this is a fact. And they are very powerful. They are very powerful. And if you work for yourself, you will see that the works are not powerful. They are not giving you that happiness. They're not giving you that satisfaction at all. But as you start, as you keep working for others, they give you much more happiness. And this happiness teaches how to do things. Don't go into too much of other philosophy. Very keep yourself very basic. Not expect anything out of this work. As perfect as possible, as sincere, as honest as possible. So just do this much. You will see the rest. This particular principle, karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, this will teach you everything. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are going to meet again on Tuesday at 8:30. If you want to attend the Bengali class, which we are going to do every day at 5 o'clock in the evening, so everybody is welcome. We are going to read the life of Bhagavan, and I would also like to do important. We should all books, and we should all read them. Thank you very much. God bless you.